Okay, let's move to question number 2. Now, all of you got to read the question carefully, because you don't read the question carefully, right? That's why I had to minus your marks. Later, I show you some of the common mistakes. The question says, by labeling clearly the axial intercepts. This axial means it came from the word axis, A-X-E-S, okay? All the axes, meaning the x and the y axis. So they want the x-intercept, y-intercept. They also want the turning point. And they want the equation of the line of symmetry. They want you to label all these. So many of you simply label the x-intercept, y-intercept. You didn't label the turning point. You didn't label the line of symmetry also. That's why you couldn't get the full marks. Now, that's the first thing. Now, the other thing is, if you look at this equation that you are given, right? There is a minus here. Okay, so the correct way to do it, if you really want to see whether it's a happy or sad face, what you need to do is this, okay? You focus your attention on all the x. So you have x times minus x. That will give you minus x squared, right? Okay. But this minus x squared, ultimately, after you have expanded whatever is inside these two brackets, right? You need to multiply this minus x squared by this minus. So at the end of the day, you will end up with an x squared plus something. That's why the coefficient of x squared is positive. Okay? Coefficient of x squared is greater than 0, meaning there is a happy face. Some of you simply look at this minus x. When you see the question, you just look at this, right? And then you forgot about this. So you actually drew a negative sad face, and everything is wrong already. Okay? So you must be very careful when you do this kind of questions. Now, how do you start? Basically, normally, right, we go and find the intercepts, okay? Now, to find intercepts, the correct way is to sub x equals 0. Okay, you will get the y-intercept, okay? So your y-intercept, for this particular question, right, you don't need to state like that. You don't need, because they didn't specifically ask you for the x and y-intercept. Okay, as long as you draw it here on your graph, you would have answered the question already. That's why you see I didn't state. It's just that now I'm trying to tell you specifically that the x-intercept is like that. The y-intercept is like that. The x-intercept is, or the x-intercepts are these two, okay? Minus 3 and minus 5. Alright? Okay, now, just to make sure all of you understand, when x equals 0, you get some y value, right? This will be your y-intercept. So you can label on your graph here the y-intercept. Alright? Let's say I label here minus 15. Okay, your x-intercept, of course, are the x values, right? So you have to label on your x-axis. Minus 3 means 1, 2, 3. So minus 3 here. There should be more spacing here, okay? There should be more. This will be 3 units. So there should be more spacing for the 5 units. Alright? Okay. Then some of you, you thought that this is your minimum point. No, it's not your minimum point. This is your, you see, when you draw the happy or the sad face, right? It will definitely be either this way, that would be a happy face, or this way, right? That would be a sad face. So as you can see, we know that it's a happy face, and we know that it's not, the minimum point is not here, okay? But there is more, it is actually more shifted to the right. Okay, so this is how the graph is going to look like. Okay, more to the right. So I'm going to draw the graph. Okay, a little bit not accurate, later I just adjust. Okay, so this is your minus 15. I erase this. So can you see that my y-intercept is not my lowest point? Some of you really drew that as the lowest point, and that is wrong. Okay, minus 5 is here, minus 3 is here. Okay, minus 15 is here, and many of you simply wrote minus 16 here and 1 here, and you consider that it's done already. No, that is not acceptable. In the O levels, right, we want you to not label the axis like that. You must label the coordinates like this. Okay? Now, how do you obtain this value? Basically, this graph more or less is drawn already, and then you need to, because they want us to draw, you read the question, they want us to label the equation of the line of symmetry. That means they want you to draw first, and then you label the line of symmetry. Okay, so we need to draw this line of symmetry here. Okay, line of symmetry, you can draw a solid line. Most of you go and dot this line. Dotted line means actually the line not really there. Okay, so you just draw a solid line because that's exactly what they want you to do. And then they want you to label it, right? So this equation is x equals to 1. So this is your equation of the line of symmetry, and you need to label the equation of this graph. Okay, you need to label the equation of this graph, meaning y equals to minus x plus 3, then 5 minus x. Okay, then this question is considered fully done. Now, most of you have no problem finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept, but you have problems finding the line of symmetry. Now, this question is not the same as our question number 1. Okay, question number 1, if you are given question number 1 like this, right? If I ask you what is the equation of the line of symmetry, the answer is just x equals to 1, right? X equals to 1. Alright, so it's very simple. But now, if you have this kind of question, you are not expected to expand, express in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and then you complete the square, and then from this you go and find the line of symmetry and the minimum point. You are not required to do that. The method is very long and prone to mistakes. So when you are given an expression like this, right, very simple, you go and find the line of symmetry first. So to find line of symmetry, you must always write x equal to something, because line of symmetry, okay, is an equation. Okay, it's an equation of the line of symmetry. So you need to add up these two x values. Okay, minus 3 plus 5. Minus 3 plus 5, that will give you 1. So x equals to 1 is the equation of the line of symmetry. That's why I labeled it here, right? Okay, then after that, you know that anywhere here, okay, anywhere here is having the equation x equals to 1, right? Meaning to say that in order to find this y value, this y value must satisfy this equation. So you sub x equals to 1 into this equation, then you can get the y value or y coordinates. So your y is simply minus 1 plus 3. Okay, just sub in 1 here, 1 here, and you get minus 16. That's how you got this. So 1 minus 16 is your minimum point. Okay, so this is how you do it. Now let's say now I ask you to, like in question number 1, right? I ask you to find the x coordinates of the minimum point. Then the answer will be same thing lah, 1. Okay, but if I ask you for the y coordinate, I didn't ask you for coordinates. This is the coordinates, okay? So coordinates, x coordinate, if I want y coordinate, you will not be -9, you'll be in this case -16, right? Okay, and if I ask you to find the minimum maximum value and the corresponding value of x, what would the answer be? The answer will be this is a happy face, right? So this is minimum point. So minimum y is -16, okay, and the corresponding x value is 1. Okay, so I hope we are very clear about the differences between all these questions. Alright, so I finished going through exactly how to do the question already. The next thing I want to do is to run through some of the common mistakes made by you. Okay, the first one is this one. Okay, so if you look at this particular answer, right, this person, this student, right, actually expanded the whole thing, no? Expand, and then expand, get the form ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Very good, and then later complete the square and then get this form. Then it is a happy face. Then the minimum point is 1 minus 16. Okay, totally correct. But what I'm trying to say is that this method is so much longer than the method that I just showed you. Okay, so I would strongly recommend that you use the other method. Alright, now from this method, okay, let's say you are asked to do this method. From this method, right, you can see straight away that once you set this to be equals to 0, you set x minus 1 equals 0, right? Your line of symmetry will come out already. Okay, so this student didn't read the question, okay, to label the line of symmetry. So this part here, you must label the equation of line of symmetry. So what is the answer here? Is actually x equals to 1. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say you have another equation, 2x plus 3 square, like that, right? Then 4y equals to there's a number 4 in front of the bracket here, okay? Minus 5. So what is the equation of line of symmetry? The line of symmetry is, you need to set this to 0. So 2x minus so x plus 3 equals 0, right? You make x the subject. Okay, so this is your line of symmetry, x equal minus 3 over 2. Alright, and what is the minimum point? The minimum point, of course, is minus 3 over 2 minus 5. So that's your answer. Okay, I hope you are clear how to find line of symmetry and the minimum point using this method. Okay, and using this method, you need to know both methods. Okay, so I've gone through one particular mistake with you already. Easier to use the other method. Okay, this one don't sketch your graph using pen. Okay, use pencil, because in the exam if they give you this, right, then you do wrongly, you will have problem. Okay, so use pencil, and you must label. Even class, even if they don't ask you to label the turning point, right, you must label. Okay, you must always label the intercepts and must always label the turning point, even if they don't ask you to do it. But it is not necessary to do the line of symmetry. So this part here, again, this student forgot to read the question, so you must read the question. Okay, so what must you do? You must label the equation of line or symmetry. Okay, so I just quickly run through a few other mistakes. Now, you don't label the minus 16 here, okay? You label the coordinates. Don't label 1 and minus 16 here like that. You label exactly the coordinates. And this must be labeled. Okay, now next oh yeah, you need to label your graph. Okay, you need to label your graph because next time when you do trigo there'll be two graphs on the same axis, right? If you don't label then you have problems knowing which one is which, and the examiner can mark you wrong if you don't label. Okay, now this particular student, not the only student who made this mistake. After finding the y-intercept, this is the y-intercept, right? The student actually sub this y back into this equation. Now, I can tell you even without looking at your working, right, you sub this back, right, one of your answer will be 0. You're actually trying to find the same point. This is not the correct way to find the x and the no, the two x intercepts. Okay, you need to let y equals 0, then you can find the two x intercepts. Okay, so this student please learn. Now next one, okay, this student I just want to highlight this student made a mistake. Two mistakes actually. He or she assumed that it's a maximum point. Wrong. You see minus times x is minus x. Minus x times minus x is plus x squared. So this is wrong already. Okay, so that's the first mistake. Alright. The second mistake is actually shouldn't be using this should be using the other method Okay, but that one not as bad as this mistake. Like once you draw like that, right, I cannot give you the marks already. Okay. Okay, now this is a very serious mistake. You know your happy face is going to go up like that, right? It's going to go up like that. The x values are going to get smaller and smaller on the left. The x values are going to get bigger on the right, right? So it cannot curl back like that one. It cannot curl back. Once you curl back, it's wrong already. Okay, then must label the coordinates. Label graph, label coordinates. This one I said many times already. Do not leave out the x. For a line of symmetry, you must have x equal. Okay, and do not draw like that. You draw like that, you stop here, right? Then you are not telling the examiner that you know that this goes on forever. So you just extend it. Okay, extend it a U shape. Okay, then this one, draw a solid line. Okay, that's all.